Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a story time video on my completely natural, no epidural, labor and delivery that I had with my youngest, who's a little over a year now. So I'm a little late doing this video, but I hope you guys enjoy it nonetheless. I'm just gonna start right into it. So with both of my sons, my labors have gone very fast, and as fast as the labor could go. I think when I had my oldest, I lost my mucus plug, and then within 24 hours he was here. With my second, I lost my mucus plug, and within 12 hours he was here. So the story is crazy. Now, a little bit of backstory. My husband works on the road. He works 10 days on and 4 days off. So I wake up one morning and I lose my mucus plug, and I'm like, okay, I think today is the day it's gonna happen. Now, mind you, he's way out in West Bubba Chuck somewhere. I don't know if he was in like Michigan or some other state. We were living in Nevada. Well, still living in Nevada at the time. So I call him. I'm like, today is the day. I need you to, get on home. So he calls his boss, and they were already preparing for this. He was supposed to come home like a day or two later, so it wasn't too early, so they were able to like finesse his flying arrangements and everything, get him here. And so he comes home literally at like, I call him maybe at like 9. He gets home at like 6:30-ish, somewhere around 6:30, 7 o'clock. And so when he gets there, the baby comes at like 9. So mind you guys, everything is like, we just made it. So he gets home, I pick him up from the airport. I'm having like contractions the entire time I'm driving. But I'm like, oh, okay, it's no big deal. I'm waiting for like the big ones. I'm thinking, when I'm ready to go, it's gonna be time to go. Like, I'm gonna know. So I'm ignoring him, and then he gets there, and I'm like, oh, let's get something to eat. So we go to the Chinese place, because I know in my mind I'm not gonna be able to eat later. So I'm like, well, let's go get something to eat. So we go to this buffet, and I'm literally like limping around the Chinese buffet because I want to eat with my pet. So, and at this point, I'm sure I'm in full-blown labor looking back on it, but at the time I didn't think so. So I'm just like sitting there. I have really bad contractions, but I'm trying to just eat something. So then it's like 8 o'clock or somewhere around there, and he's like, do you want to go to the hospital now? Now I'm gonna take you to the hospital. And I'm like, no, let's just go back to the room, try to get some sleep. So no sooner as we park the car, get all the way upstairs and get to the room, I start getting like the big one. So I lay down on the bed, and I'm like, that's what I was waiting for. Okay, this is it. This is what I remember. And I'm like, all right, we gotta go. So he's like, all right. So we go and get in. I think the reason I was taking so long to go to the hospital is because I was stalling. I don't know if I thought that if I just ignored the contractions, it would make it just go away and I would have more time to not go through delivery process. I don't know, but I was delivering at a school, so it was the University of Las Vegas, and I just was not confident in their like abilities. I remember I went to sign up or to register to deliver, and the lady was like, who are you with? And I was like, I'm with UNLV. And she's like, oh, like just like that, like, oh. So I'm like, okay, is this something I should know? But listen, they took our insurance, they were in network, so we just had to roll with it. So we get to the hospital finally, and I'm like, he's like, should I drop you off at the door? And I'm like, no, it's okay, I'll walk. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, like, or going through, but I walk from the parking lot all the way over, and the people come meet me with the wheelchair. They're like, bro, man, you got your wife walking, and she in labor and all. He's like, she said she wanted to. So they come, they put me in the chair, and they take me upstairs like immediately. So they put me in back this little room. Y'all know you don't go immediately back to where you deliver at first, because they think everybody's like having false labor, and they really don't believe that you're in labor for whatever reason. So they take me into this room, and I'm supposed to like change clothes and give them like a sample of my urine, and I am not able to do that. I'm like just in like leaning over, I'm taking my clothes off, but it is so like painful, it's hard to like stand up. So it's not just my pee. They have like 2 different cups in there that don't belong to me, I guess whatever women came before me. And so while I'm getting dressed, I literally spill somebody's pee. So now, y'all, I don't know what I was thinking. I get down on all fours. Mind you, I'm in full-blown labor, y'all. I got like paper towels. I'm like cleaning it up, like, oh no, I spilled somebody's pee. And then I'm trying to like get mine and wipe it off and make sure it's neat so when I give it to them. And they're like, and the lady like, she starts knocking like, what's taking you so long? So I said, I spilled somebody's pee. And she was like, girl, get off the floor. Like, what are you doing? So she was like, we would have got there. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I just walk out. So then they put me on like this little bed so they can like monitor me. They like hook me up with the IVs. And this is the part where they start asking you a million questions. Again, I don't believe they thought that I was in full-blown labor. I was. So I'm sitting there and she's asking me all these questions and I'm just like, I'm 28, like trying to answer, but like struggling to answer. And this girl is like fiddling around with my arm, like she can't find my vein, so she decides to put it in my hand. And I look over and it's just like bleeding, like she leaking blood everywhere. And then the other girl goes, could you sign this for me? And I just make this face and she's like, what hand do you write with? And I'm looking at her like, she like, oh, you left-handed, right? And I'm like, of course I am. Like, of course I am. That's my hand that's bleeding, and homegirl just struggling whatever she trying to do to get this vein in here. So I'm signing with my right hand. It's looking a mess, but I don't care at this point. Now mind you, I'm the only person back here because they have this weird rule in this hospital where you can't bring like children back. So my husband couldn't even be back here with me because he has Michael, which is our oldest, who was maybe like 4 at the time. So it's just me. So I called, like my mom is on like on FaceTime with me, and I'm like, I don't want to go through this by myself. Like, why would they let him back? So she's like, no, you can do this, just calm down, you got this, whatever. And so I'm like really just breathing through these contractions, and I think I'm handling it, like, oh my god, okay. And then all of a sudden I get this big and I can no longer just like close them, and then I just like open my mouth and like, ah, and it can only be described as like a goat like caught in a fence. Like it was just real bad. This is when like my water broke, so I can literally feel like a balloon blowing up is what it feels like inside, and then like just popping open, like you can feel it pop open. That's what it felt like. And then I had this like just release, so I didn't feel anything after that. And it was like the only relief I had in quite a little bit of the day. And then this nurse came in on a mission, like, okay, we can't have this kind of peace in here, this is not a place for that. And she sticks her entire like hand and forearm up, you know, the wuha, and I'm like, please, like, remove yourself, like, what are you doing? I didn't ask for this. So I thought she was like, be Simone Tone, shout out. But I'm thinking she's like, I guess she's like checking to see if I'm dilated. But like, I'm like, lady, like, you see like my water is breaking. Like, I don't know what she was, like, she was up there for a minute, y'all. Usually they just kind of come in and they're like, oh, okay. But she's like fiddling around, and I'm like, just figure it out, please, like, go. So she finally comes out, she's like, this lady's in labor. And I'm like, duh, like, I've been trying to tell y'all that. So then I get another like urge, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is it, like, this is the baby, he coming. And so I'm like pushing, like, yeah, like I'm on the gurney, I'm not even in the room yet. And it turns out that it's not the baby, it's the Chinese food that I decided I wanted to eat right before labor, and it's poop, you know, on the table. That was me. I did that, and vigorously, might I add, because I thought I was pushing a baby out. And so there's that. And so at this point they finally decided to let my husband back, because I'm like yelling his name like, Will, get back here. So they're like, fine, he can come back. And so they let my son and everybody in the room. They wheel me into there, and now it's time to push. But at this point my body is in complete shock. Like, my legs just will not stop shaking, and they're trying to lay me down and put my feet kind of up. But I have this urge to push like a different way, which I hear a lot of women say, like, the squatting position is like the best, and that's what I want to do, but I can't because I'm in the hospital setting, of course, and they have rules, I guess. They want you to do it like a certain way. So they kept forcing my feet into like these stirrups, and like people were like holding my thighs, and it was uncomfortable. I mean, but I get why they do what they do, I guess. And so it's finally time to start pushing, and there is like a mass of people standing around my vaginal area, because mind you guys, this is UNLV, this is a school, so this is like a university, like a college, and so people are learning and they are actually practicing like the word says. And so there were a ton of people, it looked like students, some of them had notepads. There was like more than one doctor. I don't know if there was like a doctor in training and then the real doctor and then like nurses. I don't know, it was quite a bit of people, like maybe 10 or 12, like surrounding my area. And then there's this guy in the back who I have no idea what his purpose was. I found out later that he was there for cleanup, but it was like no reason for him to be there while I was actually pushing. He literally was just like creeping in the back, weird. And so finally I'm like pushing, the baby literally comes in 1 or 2 pushes, it doesn't take long. And then I'm like relieved. They sit the baby on my chest. I hear people yelling like, skin to skin, skin to skin. It's just like, well, it's the one thing they do know. And so they put the baby on me, and I hear like this voice from heaven. And it's like, my child, I'm pleased with you. You did this. It's awesome. And then it yells out, turn the camera over. I can't see. And I realize that it's not a voice from heaven. It is my mother, who is still on FaceTime, that I completely forgot about, and the phone is turned down so she can't see anything. She just proceeds to start yelling. So I turn her around so she can see the baby, and they come in and, you know, they clean up and all of that, and it's over. And my husband says it was very anticlimactic because for whatever reason I wasn't like completely snapping. I think honestly my water breaking was the worst part because my body kind of went into shock, and I just, that pull, like I didn't experience it the first time because I had an epidural, so they broke my water for me and all of that, but it was just a crazy experience. And you know, the one thing I will say is the recovery is much better with natural birth, because without the medicine you don't have to wait for it to wear off and everything. And I was really back to myself quickly. I mean, it's sore down there, but because I didn't rip or tear, I didn't have stitches, it didn't take me long to heal. And so that was a blessing. So if you guys want to do it, don't be afraid of it. Just